Hi there, I'm Gail Waitkun, and this is the first chapter of my first book that I wrote to help people, perhaps someone like you, who's trying to find answers for what you should be doing, could be doing for your brain injury. Maybe you're struggling a lot and you're not getting the answers that are helping you. So I wrote this book to help people like you. And I have been contacted by other people who do not have brain injuries who have used this book to help people they know and love. The first chapter I named The Struggle. Embrace and be thankful for the struggle you're in today. That struggle is developing within you the strength you're going to need tomorrow. Clyde Lee Dennis said that. Grace is 42 years old and lives alone. She suffered a brain injury, which resulted in the loss of her job as a public school teacher and track coach. She also lost the ability to participate with her family and friends in weekend and traditional sports activities. Cycling, hiking, spinning classes, and a regular gym routine have all been placed on hold. Her annual climb up Mount Washington on the 3rd of July with family and friends is definitely out of the question, as is her yearly participation in the 180-mile bike ride to raise money for the American Lung Association. Her brain injury knocked her out of the game. Grace is depressed and frustrated. Her balance is off and her cognitive abilities have decreased. She is frustrated because people keep telling her she looks fine and she seems okay. She finally finds a neuropsychologist specializing in traumatic brain injuries. Dr. D administers a series of tests that take many visits, confirming she, in fact, is not fine. She is diagnosed with lessened executive functioning skills, PTSD, anxiety, frustration, depression, and ADHD. Finally, she feels understood, but the doctor's words are far from encouraging. He explains how he knows that it is frustrating to be where she is, to have people now regard her as a lazy individual because she looks and seems perfectly fine. He knows her angst and validates her confusion. She feels a moment of relief. This becomes the shiny hope she tightly holds on to. She's not going crazy. She's not lazy. There are reasons for what is happening. It is difficult for Grace to accept where she is, but she has her shiny charm of hope and validation gifted in the form of an 18-page report that took 2 weeks of testing in mind-bending, brain fog-producing, incremental pieces. She believes there is a way to get back, despite the doctor stating in his report that it may be unlikely that Grace will be successful at anything other than a self-directed occupation. She can't be happy being told what to do and when. Grace needs to be her own boss. His answer is Ritalin. Grace refuses. Her speech may be a bit slower than before. She may even slur her speech, stammer, and stutter. Those who knew her before the accident notice, but say nothing. It seems they believe that if they were to bring attention to this and speak of it, it would upset Grace more. Actually, the truth is that the pregnant pauses in conversations, bulleted by stunned expressions, exacerbate Grace's anxiety. She could always speak eloquently and argue, discuss, and have conversations with ease. She now does not understand where her vocabulary went. She loses her train of thought easily and can't tell a story from the beginning to the end. She feels like an old person. She's also experiencing night vision problems, sensitivity to light, indoors and out, and her peripheral vision is off. Floaters take turns disturbingly dancing across her eyes at least once a day. Watching TV or going to a movie theater is unpleasant, out of the question, as the flickering contrasts of light offend her sense of peace. It actually disrupts her body's calm and brings on a tremendous headache that feels like a vice is squeezing her brain. It's akin to a tight swimming cap that can't be removed. Heaviness over her eyes creates sleepiness. She falls asleep often. Grace feels guilty and confused by this. She was not one to ever take a nap. She saw this as being lazy. She lacks energy. The day disappears, and before she knows it, it's time for bed, and then she can't fall asleep. Her mind races. It's a flooding of a murky mixture of unkind moments that she experienced in the past, combined with glimpses of positive thoughts, prompted by read snippets and quotes. She is planning on getting better, but she has no idea how to do this. Her family has had it. They think Grace is milking it. Some of them even told Grace to snap out of it, that Grace needs to just change her attitude, go to a yoga class, eat better, stop sulking, and other unimaginable and intended to be helpful, yet clearly sharp and hurtful comments. Grace is withdrawing, and her formerly impenetrable veil of love she felt for her family and herself is beginning to show holes. She doesn't remember where she's taken off her shoes or where she's placed her phone. She put them somewhere so she will remember, which is tantamount to hiding them. Frustration builds. Her need for connection drives her to her social media, yet there is little energy for lengthy proclamations. Grace actually does not want the world to know. On her social media platform, she can be the artist and the athlete with the intellectual prowess she once enjoyed and took for granted. Facebook allows snippets of brilliance, and they are only half hers. She finds quotes to fit photos that she took or found online. This becomes a daily activity, something she looks forward to. It's not too taxing, yet it is tiring. She finds the activity to be grounding. It's addictive, and it feeds her ADHD. It allows her to feel like she's part of a community of like-minded people. The truth is that few people really know her. Her former teammates now have little use for her. The communication with them has become diminished, and Grace is left with a skeleton of a friend network that provides a canopy of false belonging. It's not satisfying. Genuine human contact and interaction is necessary, yet not forthcoming. She turns to food, drugs, and alcohol to quash the feelings. She hides this from everyone, and because they are at a loss with how to handle this disturbing metamorphosis, people keep a distance and do not notice. Grace has become isolated and prefers the quietude and the dampening, self-soothing behaviors to the glaring stares that are emitted from them. Grace feels alone in a crowd, as she attempts to speak as she once did. She is stuck. People tell her, you just need to try some different things. They have no idea. These are just a few of the symptoms Grace experiences, and few people understand or realize the hurricane of conflicting beliefs and needs that slam around in her head. She wants to succeed, to move forward, yet there are extenuating physical limitations that are silently working behind the scenes. These have yet to be identified or quantified. Grace's isolation brings glimmers of possible solutions. Patience is necessary to allow herself the clarity to move towards help. She knows she is not the first person to have had this experience and fortifies herself with commitment and experiments to find the answers. She digs deep. She's going to figure out how to train for this health improvement marathon. Her first steps are to reacquaint herself with her former mindset trainings. After reviewing some of her journals, she has an idea. She decides to list all her problems and then take them on, just like she would when competing, one by one. She will need an ally. For now, she sorts and picks her candidates and decides to begin by questioning her doctor. Grace gathers information and begins to formulate a plan that will help her heal her TBI.